Hi and welcome back to my channel. It's Diamond Members Award at group this week, so this is the 7th of June 2018, and my group, or groups, there are two groups in the building that I go to on Saturday morning. Between the two groups there are 45 target members. I think that's brilliant. So this morning some of us were up for Diamond Member Award, those of us who are Diamond members, and I got runner-up. So I was really chuffed with that. Naomi, our consultant, was voted Diamond Member in the first group, which is brilliant because she is 7 years at Target. And the other thing I was going to tell you, I haven't actually got it with me, I left it in the other room. I got a sticker today. Under the new thing for Target members, I actually said last week that there will be pins for years 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. I was wrong, they're actually stickers. So this year I got my second year at Target sticker on my book, which is really nice because I got the diamond sticker when I'd been at Target for 1 year. So last December I'd been at Target for 2 years. I've now got the 2-year sticker, and this coming September I'll get the 3-year one, and then they're on and they're on. But that's encouraging because that's something new for Target members. Naomi mentioned more this morning, a little more about this new plan that's coming in a fortnight. There will be 3 schemes or 3 plans for staying at Target. They are dependent on how you got to Target. So she was kind of giving us a bit of a heads up. If you're very close to Target and you get there, do it by following the plan and food optimising properly. And then you get the best plan to follow to stay there, apparently. It's all quite intriguing. But I must confess to being a bit cross this morning because I had asked the question last week. The journal things and everything that you get as Target members, will they be available on audio for blind people? Guess what? No, they won't. Now, I'm not blaming Slimming World for that in totality. I do think they could have come up with something there. Because, you know, I'm finding doing this channel that I have several followers who are Slimming World members and who are visually impaired like me. And I think it's just a bit sad that, you know, I will be handed a book that's absolutely no use to me at all. But hey ho, that's life. You know, can't plan the whole world around a minority, can we? So, good group this morning. And I said last week that I had set what I would have liked from a weight loss this week, and I've never done that before. I'm not one for saying I am going to try and lose, but I did say last week 2 pounds and it went on the machine. So I aimed for the moon. Missed it completely, but landed in the stars. So I'm really pleased because I lost 1.5 pounds this week. And I feel like that's been a good week for me. I've heard a lot of people saying this week on vlogs and also in group, and people I've talked to during the week by email, that they're struggling because of the heat. And I've been really fortunate this week because Joe makes incredible salads. So I've only had one hot meal this week. One day when for lunch we had chicken sort of Chinese stir fry with noodles. That was really delicious. But every other day I've had cold meals and I've really enjoyed it. So in our fridge we've got lots of fruit, and we keep our fruit in the fridge, not bananas of course, even though you can get a bag from Lakeland so you can keep your bananas in the fridge. We've got strawberries, and my fruit of the week has to have been cherries. And Joe will say, how many punnets have I had most days?
2.
2 punnets of cherries most days, and I love them. And I'm having them straight out the fridge, so they're really cold and really refreshing. We're keeping our conference pears and our apples and all our other fruits and that. Strawberries, raspberries, blackberries Joe's had this week. We've had blueberries. Keep them all in the fridge because in this heat it's so refreshing to have ice cold fruit. And somebody at group was saying this morning, do the same with seedless grapes, and it's very refreshing. I'm not a fan of grapes, but I can see where she's coming from. And I know a lot of people freeze grapes as well to make them last and make them refreshing. I've been having Vimto ice pops, which I bought in Aldi. You get 12 in a bag for 99p. You pop them in your own freezer and freeze them. And I have to say, the sugar-free Vimto ice pops for 5 calories, so I've counted them as free, have been really refreshing in the evenings. You know, like something straight after my tea to finish my meal off with something sweet. One of the things I've been quite conscious of this week, I've been looking back over the way I work this plan, because I'd often say things like go back to basics, go back to basics. And I realised that to do this plan on a continuous basis and to be consistent with it, I watch a lot of Debbie's videos and I re-watch a lot of Debbie's videos. And I realised, you know, Debbie employs the basic plan every day. And that's what I try to do. I never miss out my healthy extras. I never don't count my sins. I never have less than 5 sins. This is not because I'm some sort of super person or anything like that. It's just because the only way this plan works for me is if I work it. So yeah, don't skip my healthy extras. At the moment I'm on 1 of each until I get back to exactly the weight I want to be, when I shall revert to having 2 Bs. I don't drop below 5 sins. My average sins this week have been 11, so I've been between sort of 10 and 13, but I think over the week it averages out at 11. I don't believe in all this, you've got to flood your body with gallons of water, because that's never been something I've done, and I've lost 12 stone, 12 pounds. So, you know, if you have to drink 3 litres a day to do that, then I'd have failed first day, because I can't do it. I do drink plenty. I wee plenty, I get up in the night and go to the toilet and all those things, but I don't believe in this theory of just pouring endless amounts of water down your neck. And I'll tell you why I don't believe in it, because I think doing it for me would wash too many of the nutrients out of my system, and the minerals and things that you need for a healthy body you can flush through too quickly. This is only my thinking. You might not agree with me, and I don't mind. If you want to leave a message below and tell me you believe something different, I'll be pleased to read it. But that's what I believe. I don't retain fluid. I'm not a person who retains a lot of fluid, I mean, I'm way beyond the menopause and things like that, so I can't blame my star week for retaining fluid, and I know a lot of younger women do, but I can only tell you what I do and what works for me. So I don't believe in all that, because when you lose weight, it comes out on your breath. It don't come out in your wee, it comes out on your breath. And I was out with Joe a couple of weeks ago, I was like, what are you doing, mother? Breathing out some fat. I was joking at the time, but I'm really conscious of that. You know, the first thing that happens if you go into ketosis, when you do these like ketosis diets and things, is your breath stinks. Doesn't it, Joe? Like a dead dog.
Yeah, but I think that's when you build up ketones in your blood.
Yeah, but things come out on your breath. And there is scientific proof that you lose fat that way. So yeah, for me, working the plan basically is focusing on number 1, free and speed. And I like to get plenty of speed in there. Not necessarily because I see it as a magic wand, I don't. I see speed generally as most of the vegetables I actually prefer. I mean, my favourite veg, if I could only eat one vegetable, my favourite veg would be cauliflower. My favourite fruit, if I could only eat one fruit, would be a conference pear. And the things I tend to enjoy tend to fall into the speed category, and it's not because they're speed. I don't enjoy them because of speed, I enjoy them because they're what I really like. Fruit-wise, you know, the fruits that don't fall into the speed category, you've got cherries, but they're not mega high in calories, so don't ever be frightened to eat cherries, don't be frightened to eat mango, don't be frightened to eat bananas, but I would say don't eat 2 or 3 a day, because that's just not wise. It's moderation in all things. You know, okay, I've been eating 2 pullets of cherries, 200 gram pullets of cherries, but I've eaten 1 as part of my lunch and 1 as part of my dinner. So it's not like I've been having, say, a yoghurt and a hi-fi bar and some fruit as a pudding and then having a punnet of cherries. My punnet of cherries would be my dessert. I've found that as I've worked this plan, and now I've been doing it for over 3 years, I've cut out a lot of the small things that used to be the things that kind of I relied on. So whereas if I'd had a salad 3 years ago, it would have had about 1/4 of a bottle at least of Heinz salad cream on it, or 4 or 5 tablespoons, or not tablespoons, the bigger ones, more like a serving spoon, of Branston pickle or something on it. I don't need things like that now. I actually prefer to taste the food I'm eating, and if I want to add a bit of flavour to things, I put the flavour in free foods or speed foods within that meal. So I want Joe to show you a couple of things. One is salmon that I'm really enjoying at the moment. Now I would have 2 of these on my salad. John West Infusion Sweet Chilli Salmon. At the moment in Morrison's, these are two for £2.50. I think they're about 80 grams, aren't they, Joe?
Yep.
I put 2 of those on a salad and I really enjoy it. The other thing I want Joe to show you are garlic cloves. Now these are not pickled, I often refer to them as pickled garlic. They're actually just garlic and salt in a jar. I think these are £1.79 in Morrison's, and that's the only place we find them now, isn't it?
Yeah, we haven't seen them anywhere else.
I'm sure you could use these in cooking if you wanted to add garlic to a dish, but just as they are, I'm not joking when I tell you, I could sit with, I mean these, we keep them in the fridge, I could sit and eat the jar just with my fingers. They are bloody lovely, if you like garlic. But the one thing I would say is I don't get a lot of criticism for having garlic breath, and I eat garlic every day. So they're not something you need fear if you're worried about, you know, having to go to work after you've had your lunch or whatever, because they don't make you stink of garlic. So things like that, adding capers to my salads, adding, we've been buying diced pickled beetroot in jars in Sainsbury's for about £1. Adding gherkins. Morrison's again, do a massive jar. I'm talking this big, aren't I, Joe?
Yeah.
This big, a big chunky jar of gherkins for £1.94. And they're lovely. They're my favourite gherkins, and we've tried some of the more expensive ones, but you cannot beat those. So again, it's about getting flavour into your food, and for me, not relying on mayonnaise, not relying on salad creams and some of the really flash dressings I used to buy in Marks and Spencer's, the Mary Rose dressings and things. I don't need those anymore because I'm enjoying my food for what it is. The other thing I've noticed this week is Joe's been using, now tell me what make they are, the jacket potatoes. McCain's frozen jacket potatoes. Because in a hurry, they're really handy to have in the fridge, and also in this heat, potatoes just don't keep. And we don't necessarily want to buy 4 jacket potatoes and have to eat them straight away. So having them in the freezer. Now there's McCain's, which are 1 sin each. There are some Aldi ones which are half a sin. There are some, I think it's Bannisters in Iceland, which are free. But having a jacket potato to be able to put on your meal, and getting out of the habit of thinking you've got to put butter on cheese or something on it, because you really can enjoy the taste of the potato. Most of these jacket potatoes have got some oil on them, that's where the sins come from, but that's what puts flavour into them. So if you're in the habit of wasting sins on putting butter on a jacket potato, I've got a friend who does Slimming World and swears blind she puts a teaspoon of butter on a jacket potato. Sure enough, I've been at your house when you've done it. The end of a knife like that isn't a teaspoon. Then you put your beans on, then you put your cheese on. Who can taste that bit of butter under there? But it's 2 sins, or 4 or 6, or however heavy-handed you are. I think we need to learn that find flavour elsewhere. Buy the best baked beans, the ones you really like. I mean, my favourite are Branston. Other people might like Heinz. Other brands are available. I love Branston beans and I love Heinz 5 beans. They don't need butter. So it's about changing those little habits. And when you've done it for a while, I think if somebody put butter on my jacket potato today, I wouldn't enjoy it. Just been talking to a lady in group this morning who has been to Devon, came back last night, been to Devon for a week. And she was actually the lady who won Diamond Member. She came back from a week's holiday with a Maintain. She's eaten well on holiday, but the one thing she did do, which she's never done before, and this is the first time she's ever come back with a Maintain, she always came back with a small game before. The one thing she did do that she's never bothered to do before, she took scales with her. They were staying in a cottage, she weighed her healthy extras. She had cheese with her dinner every night, but she weighed it first. She actually weighed her porridge and made overnight oats before any old amount will do. And it does make a massive difference. Because I know in a morning when I'm weighing out my all bran and I want 50 grams, if I just tip it out the container into the bowl, I can be at 80 grams on my first tip and I'm taking it out again. It's not easy to do it by eye or by touch. Trust your scales. And if you haven't got a pair of scales, you can't afford a pair, you're struggling, or it doesn't fit into your budget this month, I've got one pair going spare. If somebody drops me an email, they can have them. I've even got a talking pair if somebody's visually impaired and they need them. You know, there's loads of help on these channels, mine and all the others, you just have to reach out. I'm going to, I've got this thing I want to do on my channel, and it will not be every week by any stretch of the imagination. It'll be as and when. When I buy something for my use and I think that is useful on Slimming World, then I might buy a second one, and I'm going to do what is in effect a raffle, not a giveaway. Anybody, can you upload last week's video?
Yeah, I've already got it ready.
Anybody who commented last week, you're in the raffle. You didn't know you were going to be, but you're in the raffle. This will not happen every week. It's only when I find something that I think is useful. It will be reasonably regularly though. This is from Lakeland. It's a lock and lock box. It's specifically, in Lakeland's terms, for bacon. It's a bacon box. So inside, it has a little rack. I don't know if you can see it. Yeah, rack that goes in the bottom, keeps your bacon off the bottom, lets it get aerated. This is something we will use for our bacon. Well, Joe wouldn't because he opens the pack and eats it. But in theory I'll be using it. I've got one of these, and here's one to give away on the raffle. So if I can ask Joe, spin the selector thingy and let's see who wins the raffle this week, Joe.
Okay. Well, let me just get it in focus. Yeah. Winner's Fiona Peters.
I don't believe it. Fee, you've done it again. Fee won last week, and I'm sure she won't. Well, no, we're going to stand it. We're going to go with that. It's a genuine, honest spin of the thing. And Fiona, I've got your address. I'll be sending you this in the week. So there you go. That just shows you can be really lucky if you're a Slimming Worlder. So great week at group. Really interesting meeting. Good to be up for, you know, up against others for the Diamond Award. We can't all win it, but it's worth being in it. And the only way to be in it is to keep persisting. You will get to target. It's not a case of other people can get there and I never can. Honestly, that's how I felt for donkey's years, but if you want to, you will. You know, and just keep going back. Stick to plan, stay to group, ask for help, be consistent. You will get to target. And some of you, you know, by this time next year will be target members, even though you might think you've got a long way to go. Anyway, I've got to fly. Joe's got to go to work, so we pushed the time again today. But it's been a good week of good food, and I'll tell you what, I feel 100% better for eating no chocolate. The tin of sardines is still sitting on my desk, and it hasn't been opened, and it won't be because I'm not going there. Great. Keep doing what you're doing. Keep being yourselves and enjoying life. And the heat might last for a while, but it doesn't mean you can't stick to plan. Just go for cold food. We'll see you next week. Remember, works if you work it, won't if you don't. Have a good one. Bye.